Uh, there are 50 million units in this sector. There are 110 million employees, and the MSMEs in India account for 45% of India's manufacturing, and they account for 40% of India's exports and contribute 30% of GDP. Friends, you know something about Nitin ji, but we have a short video about him. May I request Anil to start showing it so that you all get to see it.
There are followers, there are leaders, and then there are visionaries. Taking people and society to where they ought to be rather than where they want to be is what separates a visionary from a mere leader. This rare quality is what sets apart Nitin Gadkari, Honorable Minister of Road Transport and Highways and Minister of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, from many of his ilk. With his indefatigable positive energy and a deep desire to use politics as a catalyst to serve society, Nitin Gadkari continues to impress all with his sterling performance over the years. Born in 1957 into a free-thinking agricultural family, Nitin Gadkari at heart has always been a social worker inspired by the RSS founder K.B. Hedgewar's ideals of humanity and nation building. Nitin Gadkari has been shouldered with immense responsibility by the party from an early age. He was only in his 30s when he took over as PWD Minister in the BJP government of Maharashtra during 1995 and 1999. His stupendous performance has been thoroughly appreciated by the BJP, who went on to make him their youngest ever party president at the age of 52. Since then, he has gone on to become one of the best performing ministers of the BJP government. Taking off as a Minister of the Public Works Department in 1995, Nitin Gadkari made groundbreaking changes in the speed the city of Mumbai travelled. 55 flyovers dotting the city have made commuting in Mumbai much easier than ever before. The foundation of the magnificent Bandra-Worli ceiling was also readied during this time. The jewel of the crown of Maharashtra, India's first expressway, the world-class Pune-Mumbai Expressway, is also a futuristic project imagined and brought to fruition by Nitin Gadkari. Connecting over 13,000 unconnected villages with an all-weather $100 million USD project is another feat accomplished by this far-sighted visionary. Nagpur, his hometown, has seen world-class institutions like IIT, IIM and AIIMS emerge and thrive under his watchful gaze. This is in addition to the over 1,000 Ekal Vidyalayas that go a long way in molding the future tribal generations. Providing financial support for performing over 10,000 successful heart surgeries is another stupendous achievement in his illustrious career as a warm-hearted do-gooder. Cemented roads and metro rail have added a new vitality to the way people travel in the city. Festivals like Khasdar Sanskritik Mahotsav, with a reach of more than 10 lakh people over 17 days of festivities to promote the local as well as national artists at a huge platform, have been organized. Krida Mahotsav, a sports festival with participation about 10,000 sportspersons, where Nitin Gadkari shared his dream of the Nagpur youth representing at the Olympics. Farmer-friendly projects like AgroVision, along with his idea of using sewage water for power generation, use of ethanol as fuel. As India's current Minister of Road Transport, Highways, Shipping and MSMEs, he has re-energized the whole sector with his clear vision. Be it reviving stalled projects of over 1 trillion USD or doubling the speed of highway construction, his lofty targets have always been achieved well before the projected timelines. With 40,000 kilometers of national highways constructed in the last 5 years, 60,000 kilometers of new roads under his supervision are being constructed. The speed of road construction from a mere 3 kilometers per day before 2014 has grown to 29 kilometers per day in 2019. Bharatmala and Sagarmala, two world-class access-controlled expressway projects led by Nitin Gadkari, are presently in various stages of construction. Exploring alternate modes of transportation like waterways mirrors the speedy and revolutionary transformation of the Indian landscape initiated by the bridge-building messiah, as he is fondly referred to. Nitin Gadkari is the leading hand in shaping the dream of a new India as envisaged by Narendra Modi. His unparalleled ability to complete gigantic projects before time makes him an invaluable national leader. The larger-than-life Namami Ganga project top priority national mission, Clean Ganga, is also progressing at top speed under his keen-eyed supervision. With Nitin Gadkari taking charge, India's most maligned logistics sector has also metamorphosed from a point-to-point model to a hub-and-spoke model. This multimodal transport system integrates railways, highways, inland waterways and airports, conjuring a highly effective transportation grid, substantially reducing logistic costs and pollution. 35 multimodal logistics parks, 50 economic corridors, 10 intermodal stations are being readied, logistics summits with international participants including government organizations and the World Bank, leading to MOUs worth 2 lakh crore have been held to add muscle to the initiative. Gifted with an ability to dream the seemingly impossible dreams and getting them to fruition also defines this clairvoyant visionary. Nitin Gadkari shines on as one of modern India's pioneering leaders and his work a template for the coming generations. If there ever was a name to the infrastructure man of India, it would be none other than Nitin Jairam Gadkari.
Says it all about our chief guest this evening. May I now invite Mr. Gadkari.
A great pleasure and pride for me to interact with you. 2 times I got this opportunity to interact with you in your press room. And today, unfortunately, I am in Nagpur because of lockdown. It is difficult for me to come to Delhi. But I am in Nagpur, but it is an opportunity because of the technology that I can interact with you. Actually, I am not very much friendly for the technology, but my experience is coming, it's really remarkable to me. From March 22 to May 21, my social media analytics given me the report that total impressions on YouTube, it is 14 lakhs, no? 14 lakhs. Total impression on Twitter, 7.53 crore. And total impression on Facebook, 4.51 crore. And total impressions is 12 crore, 18 lakhs. So I got opportunity with at least 105 video conferences. I have discussed all the issue related with SOCM, SIAM, then PhD chamber, FICCI, and small organization, the Restaurant Association, Wellness Centers Association, different type of people. I got opportunity to interact with them. And it was really a great experience for me and giving new vision for my work. Frankly speaking, presently because of Corona, the most important thing which I observed that there is a lot of fear in the mind of the people. And because of fear, there is negativity, frustration, and that is one of the most important problems we are facing. And that is the reason that some of the labor from Mumbai, all over India, they just starting, going to their home by taking national highway. And that was really a very, very unfortunate picture, which we have already seen on the road. But this is all because of fear. First of all, my feeling is now whole world is facing this problem. And India is also facing this problem. But this is the most important time for all the stakeholders that we need to create positive confidence in the mind of the people. The positivity and self-confidence is very important. Problem is a very crucial problem. there is I really have, and I understand the implication of all this problem which the world is facing. But at the same time, it is the time for the country that we need, in the whole world, we need to create positivity and self-confidence. Regarding the economy, that is also facing the big problem. India is also facing the big problem. And really, it is really a challenging situation for the country. Presently, I am responsible for MSME and road sector. Now in MSME, 29% of the growth of the GDP that contributes our MSME industry, small scale industries. 48% export of the country from MSME. And up till now, 11 crore jobs created by MSME. And now it is a backbone of Indian economy. Presently, MSMEs are facing very, very crucial problems. So that the government has declared the package of 20 lakh crores. And that is out of 10% of our GDP. And that is for MSME, our Prime Minister has given a special package. And this package is very important in the situation. Particularly, we changed the definition of MSME now. Before it was manufacturing sector and service sector classification was there. But in new policy, both sectors are merged now. In micro, the investment and plant machinery or equipment, that is criteria was there, that is investment criteria. 25 lakh rupees, now we have taken it to 1 crore. Turnover to 10 lakh, now it's to 5 crore. And small, investment was 5 crore. And turnover of 2 crore, now it is taking the investment to 10 crore and turnover to 50 crore for small scale. The medium scale investment was 10 crore, now it takes to 20 crore. And the turnover is 5 crore, turnover is taking 100 crore. But now we are trying to extend it up to 250 crores with the approval of the finance ministry. So these are the things now actually we have also decided to make more concentration on MSME, named as agro MSME. You know that the Prime Minister has already declared in the package for 20,000 crore for our blue economy. And particularly in India, we are facing the problem that our fishermen with their traditional boats, they can go up to 7 to 8 nautical miles. But when I was a shipping minister, at that time, the special trawler was invented. The cost is 1 crore 25 lakhs and it can go up to 100 nautical miles. And already we have given 100 trawler to Tamil Nadu government for fishermen, because many of the fishermen near Tamil Nadu border, they enter into the border of Sri Lanka. So we have given them that 100 trawler that they can go to the other way where the 100 nautical mile they can go in Indian border. So now by giving this trawler, we are making a scheme for that where we can increase the production of the fishing at least 5 to 6 times more. There will be more processing industries, packaging industries and export. We are expecting 1 lakh crores of fishing production in the country. So now in MSME also, we are now making honey MSMEs, fishing MSMEs. Then we want to go to divert on bioethanol, biofuel, where it can be an alternative for crude oil. So on that line, we are now planning for particularly the village area, that is the agriculture, rural and tribal. And 115 aspirant districts where we are facing economic problem, unemployment problem, poverty problem. So there we are planning to have more industry to create more employment potential in that area. Regarding this package, we have already, the government has sanctioned this package that the loan of up to 25 crore and turnover up to 100 crore, additional 20% collateral fee, additional loan over their existing limits. So this 20% is for their, it can be very useful for MSME. So that is increasing their working capital limit by 20%. So approximately the 3 lakh crores additional collateral free loan that will be benefited to MSME, and we are expecting 45 lakhs MSME will be benefited from that. Subordinate debt fund of rupees 20,000 crore where because of present bank policy, it is difficult for them to restructure the MSME, where we are now making availability of this 20,000 crore fund, where we can give share some equity in that project, by which the bank with the present policy, they can, the NPA project, they can restructure the projects. Already till March end, we have restructured 6 lakhs MSMEs, and now the date is now increased up to 31st December. So I'm expecting that bank will restructure more than 25 lakhs MSMEs. Then fund of rupees 10,000 crore, where we are going to combine with other funds, it will be of 50,000 crore. And this equity infusion in fast growing high potential MSMEs. We are now planning of making of credit rating of MSME. And by this credit rating, they can go to capital market. The idea in his mind now, we are processing the thing that there will be a MSME stock exchange. Already there is a National Stock Exchange, Bombay Stock Exchange. So there will be MSME stock exchange on the same exchange. And where if you want to raise 50 crore of equity, 15% of this cost of the equity will be purchased by government institution. So 7.5 crore, we will invest in it. The idea is by which, suppose after 3 years, 4 years, the value of the share, the 10 rupees share value will be approximately, it may go to 40 rupees, 50 rupees or 60 rupees. So after 3 to 4 years, we will sell that equity. So we will get 40 rupees price of that share, for example. So again, we will give to another MSME. So by the way, we want to rotating this fund. Now, just like NHI model, where our total income is 28,000 crore. Up to end of this year, it will come 40,000 crore. And within 5 years, our target is to make the total income 1 lakh crore. So by this 1 lakh crore strength, we can get fund, foreign funds, insurance fund, pension fund, and by which we can financing the road project. On the same line, same vision, now we are planning for using of this fund, and this fund can be very much useful for the MSMEs. The global tender, there was a now is condition that up to 200 crore, it will be only for MSME, they can get the tender. The global company can tender only after the tender cost is more than 200 crores. Then most important problem related with MSME is related pendency, and the pendency is from the some ministry of Bharat Sarkar, Indian government, then a public undertaking of government of India, at the same time state government ministry and state government undertaking. And there is also pendency with some major industries, and that is the reason that approximately this amount, it is not exactly, but when I taken the report from all the stakeholders, it come approximately more than 5 lakhs crore. So the central government has taken a decision that whatever the pendency with the central government ministry or the public undertaking, immediately within 45 days, it is expected that they should give this money to MSMEs. At the same time, I already written letter to the all chief minister in their state with their ministries, state ministries and public undertaking, whatever the amount which is pending with the of MSME, immediately they can issue the same order. So they will get that money. Even the major industries, I have interaction with all the big industries, managing director and the owner. I requested them that give first priority to issue all this pendency immediately, because this is very a crucial problem. This is just like oxygen. So at the same time, the EPF support extended up to August 2020, that is from government side, and 2,500 crore estimate benefit to business and workers to provide liquidity relief. This will get estimated 3.67 lakh units and 72.2 lakh employees to benefit. EPF contribution is reduced to 10% for 3 months. And for that reason, government is going to contribute the 6,759 crores. To benefit 6.5 lakh establishment covered under EPFO and 4.3 employees of such organizations with additional funds at hand. Now also we have taken for most important decision. The MSME schemes, which is the loans we are distributing to the small people. Now the canvas is increased. Now the district cooperative bank, scheduled cooperative bank, multi-state cooperative bank, state cooperative bank, urban cooperative bank, and NBFC, and also now they can now find they can they can all implement all MSME schemes where we have already taken guarantee for the loan. For 75% of the loan, we are that already there is a trust where we are depositing insurance premium. For 1 lakh crores of loan, we are giving as a premium of 1500 crore as a premium, insurance premium, and by which we can take the guarantee for 75% of the loan for that. So now all the schemes is now the more this sector is increased to get the facilitator, the all MSME will get benefit of it, particularly from the cooperative bank, scheduled cooperative bank, urban cooperative bank, and NBFC. NBFC role is very important. They are financing on a huge level. So now we are also helping MSME, NBFC to strengthen them. And we are trying, still we are not confirmed because we need cooperation from Reserve Bank and Finance Ministry. But how we can get more foreign investment, FDI in NBFC, that is also one of our priority by which we can reduce the cost, interest cost. Because for competitive international market, we need to reduce logistic cost, power cost, labor cost, and production cost. So this is the opportunity that our industry can get new technology, and upgradation of the technology is an advantage. Now they can change it. The second thing is they can get a foreign capital also. So this is the opportunity for them. My last point is, still we are facing economic problem. I feel that this is a blessing in disguise. In the whole world, no one wants to deal with China. Already Japanese Prime Minister has declared that whatever the investment of Japanese people or in China, where the investment and their industry, they want to ship from out of China, the Japan government has declared a package for it. This type of reaction all over in the world is there. So this is also one can be an opportunity for Indian economy to take the advantage of this, because India has got skilled manpower, the big market, and availability of raw material, and our labor cost is comparatively very cheap. So now this is the time that we can take the advantage of it. So our aim is to increase export, reduce import. At the same time, it is going to increase employment potential. And priority is that to develop employment potential in the rural, tribal, agriculture, the backward area, and 115 aspirant districts. That is exactly the now our planning. We are trying for that. The situation is very, very challenging. Now, some of the people are asking me the question that the USA government has declared the package of $2 trillion. The Japanese government has declared the package of 12% of their GDP. So Indian package as compared with is very less. But you cannot compare Indian economy with USA and Japan. But now this is the situation that everyone is in problem. The state government, they don't have money to pay the next month's salary. The Indian government revenue is also reduced. Banking system is under stress. They are also facing big challenges. And industries are also in problem. The poor migrant labor are also facing crucial problem. Everyone is in a problem. So basic idea, basic feeling is that by giving cooperation to all stakeholders, we can go ahead. That is the basic spirit behind all these things. That everyone is in problem, but we need to with creating self-confidence and positivity, we can win this war. We need to win this war against coronavirus, which I am expecting that as early as possible we will get vaccine. And if the vaccine will be available, then it is going to resolve this problem. Till now, we have to maintain this lockdown, taking preventive measures. There is no option. At the same time, we have to regularize our economy and protect the employment. And at the same time, this is a very, very crucial path. I feel that with the confidence of all the stakeholders, this is the time that whole world is facing this crisis. India is also facing this crisis, and we need to go with a positive confidence, self-confidence and positivity, we can definitely going to win this war. So anything which you want to ask me, you can ask me. This is my brief thing which I have given details about it. About my road sector, I want to tell you one thing. Our speed is now for this year, end of March, is 30 kilometers per day. So actually, once upon a time, it was 2 kilometers, coming to 2 kilometers per day. So our road sector is, we have fixed a target. It is a target. It is not commitment. For next 2 years, we will at least awarded works more than 15 lakh crores. For that purpose, now we are trying to get foreign funds, particularly 100% FDI is allowed. Second thing is we are trying for getting fund from insurance pension fund. We are talking with World Bank, ADB, then BRICS Bank. Then we are also talking with different funds also, Canadian funds, USA funds. And actually I have also interaction with many of them. So now this is the opportunity for NHI. Their rating is AAA. That is from the World Institution. So NHI has got its own strength. So their income is, toll income is up to end of this year will be 40,000 crore. And already I have given you the target that up to end of 5 years, we are targeting to getting our toll income and other income of NHI 1 lakh crore. So already we have got good response from international market. In some TOT model, the Australian company purchased our roads. Our estimated cost was 5,600 and they given us 9,400 crores. So everywhere our reputation is very good. We are making Delhi Mumbai Express Highway. Then we are making 22 green express highway access control. In Delhi, you know that the Delhi Meerut Express Highway is one of the highway where we are already successfully make this 16-lane road near Swaminarayan Mandir. And now we have already started the work of Mumbai Delhi Express Highway. This highway is going to reduce the distance between Delhi to Mumbai by 220 kilometers. It starts from Sona and going to Savai Madhopur, Alwar to Jhabua, Ratlam, and then going to Vadodara to Mumbai. So the most interesting thing with this highway is it is from the backward, economically backward and tribal area of Haryana, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat. That's the reason that only one project, this project, we save 16,000 crore on land acquisition. Now our idea is to making industrial cluster, roadside industrial cluster. There will be smart village, smart city, and these clusters will be well connected to ports, airports, and railway stations. And we can make the smart city there. Now NHI is planning to acquire the land and making a development of smart city and smart village industrial cluster with joint venture. That is also the idea. We want to make bus port in the big cities, then roadside amenities, then at the same time industrial clusters, then logistic parks, and at the same time we are now going to start this ropeway, cable car, vernacular railway, that public transport on electricity. Already when I was water resources minister, when I was in Davos for the conference, at that time I visited Austria. The Doffelmayr is the company who has got the 65% share of ropeway, cable car and vernacular railway in the world. Now the WAPCOS Indian company, the government company 100%. Now they have joint venture with Doffelmayr and the technology is available, and my idea is use this technology for hill area like Kashmir, Uttarakhand, Himachal, Arunachal, everywhere. We can make this type of all ropeway, cable car, vernacular railway. We are also concentrating on particularly biofuels. We have successfully run this SpiceJet. We're using 25% bio-aviation fuel from Jatropha oil from Dehradun to Delhi. There our last 26 January's function, the Air Force helicopter and fighter jet 100% use bio-aviation fuel. So now from Jatropha, the other non-edible oilseed Jatropha, Ratanjot, Moa, Sal, Karaj, which is available in the forest area, we can make the biofuel. So we have idea that how we can be develop the import substitute economy. So we are going to publish one book within a month that is of how much our export from last years and how much our imports. And for imports, our idea is to find out the way out an option. That is the line on the basis of our vision is going on. And I'm confident that India is the largest growing economy in the world. And that is the reason that today we are facing challenges. The whole world is facing the challenges. We are also facing the challenges. So we will take it as a blessing in disguise. And with our positivity and self-confidence, we will win this war against Corona. At the same time, we will win this war. Again, economic war also, we will win. So this is the situation. So you can ask me the question. I will try my level best to answer your question. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. My name is Munish Gupta. Welcome, and welcome all friends of FCC. Thank you for taking the time out. We had some questions ready for you. People were ready in anticipation of hearing you. So I would request Anil, as I take names, if you could just put them their microphones on. We have with us Honorable Minister, a member of our managing committee, and also a very senior journalist, Mr. Tim Vichar. He is the bureau head for South Asia for AFP news agency. So he wanted to ask you a question or two. Tim, could you unmute yourself?
Good evening, Minister. Thank you very much for coming here. The government took a very bold move to implement the lockdown very quickly in March. And it seems to have restricted perhaps the spread of the disease and everything. But does your government have an equally bold measure to help the small, medium companies, or will the fall in the economy mean you're going to have to be very cautious now with spending? There are predictions that the economy could contract this year.
I'm not hearing you properly. Can you explain again?
Okay.
Yes.
The government took a very brave decision, a very bold decision to implement the lockdown in March. It was very early in the crisis. But there are many experts who say you need to take equally bold measures, equally brave measures with the economy. But will the fall in the economy, it could contract this year? Does that mean you will have to be cautious, or will you do something brave on top of what you have already announced?
Actually, frankly speaking, by considering the problem which is the whole world is facing, particularly there is a lot of difference of opinion between the minds of the people. But I feel that the appropriate time our government has taken a decision. And that is one of the reasons is our case is really, it's very challenging, but compared with the other countries also, we are in a safer position. So I feel that presently economy is facing the problem because of lockdown, but we don't have any option because life is very important. And that's the reason that at that time we have taken a decision. But any decision taken by the central government, every time, Prime Minister have a detailed discussion with all the chief ministers and by taking suggestion from them. Then Prime Minister appointed different committees, and also all the ministers he give the responsibility for taking review of the states. We have submitted our report to PMO, and after that, then Prime Minister has taken a decision by considering all the stakeholders. So I feel that it is a correct judgment that we at least save the life of the people. But at the same time, economic point of view, we are facing challenges. But now what my feeling is, the life is most important. After we can save the life of the people, then we can fight with any other problem. But still now, it is the time for the country to fight with coronavirus. At the same time, we need to fight with economic war. So I am confident that though there is a lockdown is there, but now we are already regularized many things. And now the industries have started. That national highway traffic is now 80%. Highways are open. At the same time, our export and import is already started. Then some of the areas, school, colleges, state transport is not there. Even by strategically, we have taken decision to start some railways and some giving railway to migrant labor also. That railway ministry is arranging. At the same time, some flights are also started. So this is a very difficult task to taking a judgment. What my suggestion is, we are facing this problem first time. This is not the known virus. There are two types of virus, artificial virus and natural virus. Now, I am not the expert of this subject, but what I understand that this virus is a new thing for all the world. So we don't have either we have any option of any vaccine or anything. So this is the first time we are facing this. So my feeling is that the government has taken an appropriate decision, and that is the reason that because of the lockdown, we have saved the life of a number of people. So I feel that it is very correct. Yes.
Good afternoon, sir. I am SK Verma.
Vermaji,
Global
one
Delhi.
second. We are going by some submitted questions. Anil, can you please take on Emily Schmall? She is the correspondent for AP, sir. Vermaji will come one by one to questions.
Sir, okay, sir. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with all of us. We're very grateful for that. I'm just wondering why the government, the governments of New Zealand and Canada, for example, provided wage subsidies to keep companies from laying off or furloughing workers, to keep people employed and to keep them paid. Why didn't the Indian government incorporate this kind of scheme in its relief package?
Can you explain me again? I am not hearing properly.
Sure, Honorable Minister. Yes, I'm asking about wage subsidies for employees. Why was that not included in the relief package?
It is already we have deposited money in the accounts, particularly Jana Dhan Yojana account, 35 crores. Then we are giving a food supply, particularly ration, that is wheat and rice, now making available to everywhere to them. At the same time, we are making some schemes for migrant labor also. We are giving them lot of, at a time when they are going back to their houses in different states, there is a lot of particularly medical services, food, shelter, all type of arrangements. Some of the from government, some of the from the NGOs, we are giving them. And government is also giving them particularly the EPF support, extended up to August 2020 salary months, estimated that is 2,500 crore benefit for business and workers to provide liquidity relief, estimated 3.67 lakh units, 72 lakh employees to benefit. Then we have also taken decision to EPF contribution reduced to 10% for 3 months. That government is contributing 6,759 crore to benefit the 6.5 lakh establishment covered under EPFO and 4.3 employees to such organizations with additional funds offered. So already the salary for month, government has requested all the industry that whatever the thing maybe you should manage that, and for that purpose we are giving some concession for industry or getting 20% more loan and other benefit for that. So we are taking all preventive measures about the labor, migrant labor. And one of the impression is there that our industry is all 100% depending upon the migrant labor is not correct. Today I have a discussion with one of the association. Rahul Bajaj was there, Bajaj Scooter. They are importing, their 50% of the production is they are exporting. So Rahul Raju Bajaj, the son of Rahul Bajaj. So he was telling me that in Aurangabad plant, already more than 60% laborers are now working. So now industry have started and they are getting their salary actually 2-3 months. This salary is also a big problem. So already majority industry has given this salary to them without work. And at the same time, this is a very crucial time that industry is also facing the problem. Still, we are protecting our workers. We are taking preventive measures. Some of the industry like TVS in Tamil Nadu, they have established special camps in their factory area for food and shelter. And they are supplying all these things to their laborers. They are taking preventive measures for many industries are taking preventive measures for giving food and shelter also. So we are trying our level best. It's a huge number. It's a very, very complex issue, but the government, private industry, public sector undertaking, and state governments, definitely all are trying their level best that what are the best which they can do for the laborers.
Thank you. Thank you, Minister. May I now request Raghavendra Verma from ZDF German Television to please ask his first question.
Yes, I'll combine. Thank you very much, Minister, for speaking to us. I'll combine both my questions into one. As I understand, the loans which are given to the MSME sector, they are 20% of the existing outstanding loans that they have taken. Is this correct? And so if those companies who have not taken any loan until now, are they not qualified for taking more loans? And what about the companies who have recently joined got themselves listed as MSME? So how is there any benefits for them also?
Actually, in the industry, there is two type of loan. One is term loan, and the term loan for actually for plant and machinery, where they need to give the installment back to the bank for monthly basis, and the other part is of working capital. And in working capital, that is the 25 crore for the term loan and 100 crore for working capital. This is the limit is taken. And if the 100 crore working capital, suppose one company has got working capital limit of 50 crores, then automatically without collateral, that will increase to 60 crores. So 10 crores more working capital, they will get it without guarantee, without any fee, without any collateral. That is the idea. So by this additional working capital will be useful for them to again to restart their business, again purchase the raw material, giving the salary to the laborers, and they can be comfortably run their industry. So this is the decision, and by which we are expecting that 3 lakhs crore we are giving to MSME, where the total number of 45 lakhs MSME will be benefited from this scheme.
So that means that these loans are given so that the companies do not default on their existing loan rather than get ahead, because some companies have not taken any loan. Are they also qualified? If they are not, then basically it's so that there are no bad debts. The companies can...
Actually, the company who is registered in the bank, 100% somewhere they are taking some loan. That is the reason that they open their account. But also there is also one scheme, that is subordinate debt fund of rupees 20,000 crore. This provision is now up till March end. We have already restructured 6 lakhs MSMEs, and now we increase this date up to 31st December. So we are expecting that we will restructure at least 25 lakhs new MSMEs. But for this purpose, somewhere the present some of the MSMEs are in an NPA. So bank cannot give any loan to them because they are under NPA. So by this equity fund, debt fund of 20,000 crore, we will contribute to him for MSME, and by which then it can be possible with the present law, they can make the restructure of that MSME. That is the reason that this 20,000 crore support we are giving to them.
Thank you, sir. I would just want to check if Mr. Ashok Sharma is there online, Anil, from the Asian Age Bangladesh. I don't see him online, but I'll ask his question, sir. He has said that migrant workers, as you have emphasized, have faced a lot of problems going back home. And now there is a fear, or they fear, that they will not want to come back to wherever they left. So will this create any sort of shortage of labor, you think?
Actually, frankly speaking, now there is an impression created in this atmosphere that our industry is 100% depending upon the migrant labor. This is not the true fact. This percent is 10 to 20%. But already the workers who want to migrate from one city to their house or to state, now they stop because the already industries have started. And now those who are migrated, some of particular recycling industry association has given me the proposal that they want to come back now. So there is a procedure. They can approach their collector of that district, and the district they want to come. By mutual understanding with both the collector, the industry should take the preventive measures to take them back, and they can come back. Now this process is also started slowly. I'm giving an example of my area, Chandrapur and Gadchiroli district, where 10,000 migrant labor working from Telangana and 4,000 from Andhra Pradesh. This is the area, Gadchiroli, the Naxalite area. So the minister in charge, Mr. Vadettiwar, come to me. So I have given representation to Chief Minister of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh and requesting him that their families are here. Here, the two districts, there is no problem for coronavirus. So we requested them. They take their workers to the border of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Then Maharashtra government received them, and now they come back. So in this way, we can start this, and the process is already started.
Sir, I have a question. What are you going to do? Prime Minister, everybody has talked about startups, particularly technology startups, and we have also related them to FDI now. So what is the special emphasis that you're paying to encourage technology-led innovation startups, ones that can bring in also FDI?
Actually, a lot of startup already government has out different schemes. Under that scheme, we are supporting them. And in a crucial time now also, we are also going to support them, giving some, because this time is very difficult for them. And some of the startups, those who have such a fine technology, by which they can even, they can give their technology to the different part of the world. But now we are encouraging them, we are supporting them. And there is a special scheme in CDB and MSME that how we can give them more support for their development. And now some of the industry in India also, they want to upgrade their technology. I'm just giving you two examples. One is example of sanitizer. The sanitizer rate was, actually it is not related to the startup, but how the industry is working. The sanitizer rate was 1,200 rupees per liter. So in my area, we have sugar mill, other area, lot of sugar mill in Maharashtra. So I requested the association that you should start making of sanitizer. So by taking permission from Food and Drug of the state government, majority people started the production of sanitizer. Now sanitizer rate is 160 rupees per liter. It is surplus. And now they are asking me that we please give us permission to export. Now PPE kit. Just 1 month, 1.5 months before, we have taken one aircraft of PPE kit from China. Now we have got ample production of PPE kit of good quality. And now our PPE kits, now they are asking me permission. In Nagpur, one of the MSME cluster is here. And they are named as the Orange Cluster, Textile Cluster. The England Peter is a brand in London probably. This shirt is manufactured in Nagpur. And that cluster is very fine, very qualitative. So there are 18 people come together and they formulate a cluster with MSME ministry. And they have already manpower of 1,000 to 1,200 people, ladies and gents are working. So I give them you should make this PPE kit. Now they are making 10,000 PPE kit a day. And they have got ample order. Now they are coming to me that please give us permission to export. Now there is an inquiry from Canada and US. So this is the blessing in disguise. So now the PPE kit was imported from China. Now we don't need any type of PPE kit from China. We are self-sufficient and we are now in position to export PPE kit to the various countries. And we have got tremendous potential for that. You take an example of mask. Once upon a time, the value was very high. Now all Mahila self-help group and other, they are working, making masks, and now the mask is available in the market. So this is the way in which the industry can develop. And our startup people have got really a good research and good technology. So the Indian industry also is ready to implement and taking the technology from the startup. And that is to already, it is to be moving very fast now.
Ms. Smita Mishra, is she still there? She want to ask a question, Anil? स्मिता जी,
हाँ स्मिता पूछिए, दिखती तो ऐसा।
हाँ हाँ नमस्कार सर, आप स्वस्थ हैं? ठीक हैं?
आप कहाँ हैं अभी?
मैं तो अपने काम पर ही हूँ सर। हम लोग का तो काम बढ़ ही गया लॉकडाउन में पहले से।
अच्छा अच्छा, एकदम ठीक
नहीं,
हो, एकदम ठीक हो। पूछिए पूछिए।
बस एक छोटी सी क्वेरी थी सर कि जब प्रधानमंत्री जी ने एमएसएमई पैकेज, वित्त मंत्री जी ने एमएसएमई पैकेज के डिटेल्स दिए, उसके बाद से एक बात ये बार बार आई है कि दरअसल विशेष पर्टिकुलरली एमएसएमई सेक्टर को लेकर जो भी रिलीफ और जो भी नए प्रोविजंस, जो भी इनमें कंडीशंस आप लोगों ने इस बार अनाउंस किए वित्त मंत्री ने, दरअसल आपने वो सारा पैकेज जो है बहुत पहले ही प्रिपेयर कर रखा था, जबकि देश में कोरोना का कोई चर्चा नहीं थी, कोई ये चैलेंज नहीं था। So is it actually true that this MSME package was anyway coming, corona or no corona?
नहीं, ऐसी बात नहीं है। पहली बात तो ऐसी है कि एमएसएमई मिनिस्ट्री ने बहुत सी योजनाएं तय, जैसे ये डेफिनेशन की व्याख्या है, ये 14 साल से चल रही थी और फिर फाइनल करके मैंने तीन महीने पहले ही वित्त मंत्री और पीएमओ को भेजी थी। पर बाकी जो पैकेज है उसके बारे में हमने, जैसे कोरोना जाहिर हुआ, हमारे डिपार्टमेंट के लेवल पर काफी इंटरेक्शन हुए, काफी लोगों से बातचीत हुई, सबके रिप्रेजेंटेशन लेने के बाद, उसके प्रॉब्लम आइडेंटिफाई करके बाद हमारे डिपार्टमेंट ने बहुत सी बातें तैयार की और फिर हमने हमारे प्रपोजल्स पीएमओ में और फाइनेंस मिनिस्ट्री दोनों को दिए थे। उनके लेवल पर उन्होंने भी अलग अलग मीटिंग लेकर अलग अलग फीडबैक लिया और उसके बाद उन्होंने डिक्लेयर किया है। हमने हमारी बात उनके पास पहुंचे। एक बात की मुझे खुशी है कि हमने जो बातें उनको सुझाई थी, हमारा मैंने एक्सपेक्टेशन से डबल उन्होंने हमको इस सब बात में मदद की है, ये बात मैं कह सकता हूँ। और बहुत सी बातें उसमें आई है। अब अभी क्या है कि धीरे धीरे हमारे ध्यान में भी आ रहा है, क्योंकि ये प्रोसेस है कि भाई हमारे ध्यान में आ रहा है कि हमारे डिपार्टमेंट लेवल पर हमने ये करना चाहिए, ये बदलना चाहिए। तो कुछ बातें मेरे डिपार्टमेंट के लेवल पर मैं कर सकता हूँ और कुछ बातों के निर्णय के लिए मुझे फाइनेंस के पास भी जाना पड़ता है। तो अब हम उसके बाद भी लगातार प्रोसेस चालू रख रहे हैं कि हम क्या कर सकते हैं, कैसे लोगों को रिलीफ दे सकते हैं, क्योंकि ये ऐसा एक पीरियड है और अचानक आया हुआ संकट है कि हमारे पास सब बातों के एकदम उपाय भी है, ऐसा मैं क्लेम नहीं कर सकता। इसलिए जैसे जैसे परिस्थिति आती है वैसी बातों को समझकर हम लोग वे आउट निकाल रहे हैं और उसके ऊपर रिजॉल्व करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। और ये बात जरूर है कि हमारे लिए हमने जो जो दिया था, हमारे एक्सपेक्टेशन से अच्छा पैकेज वित्त मंत्री और प्रधानमंत्री जी ने दिया है।
There's also a question from Manoranjana regarding banks. A quick, brief question. Audio, Anil? Go ahead. You have to unmute yourself. Anil? Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Sir, namaste.
नमस्कार, नमस्कार।
कैसे हैं आप सर?
एकदम ठीक हूँ, एकदम ठीक हूँ। बोलो।
आप दिल्ली को भूल गए?
नहीं, मैं अभी 1 तारीख को आने वाला हूँ।
जी जी सर, ऐसा है, ये जो फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर ने ये जो एमएसएमई का पैकेज अनाउंस किया, there was a lot of enthusiasm and MSMEs were very enthusiastic about it. But I know personally a couple of MSMEs and I just have a very small targeted question कि वो लोग मुझे बता रहे थे कि सैटरडे तक वो लोग बैंक्स के चक्कर लगा रहे थे, लेकिन बैंक्स को कोई आइडिया भी नहीं था इसके बारे में। और बैंक्स ने कहा कि उन्होंने भी सुना है पब्लिक डोमेन में, लेकिन उनके पास अभी कोई सर्कुलर नहीं आया। So couple of MSMEs in Bangalore, in Hyderabad, who went to the banks were turned back. तो मतलब ये उनको थोड़ा सा ये जो enthusiasm शुरू में था वो थोड़ा सा जो एकदम कम हो गया।
Sir, for the sake of our Manoranjana, for the sake of our audience, can you please ask this question in English, because otherwise not everybody will know the question or the answer.
Okay.
Quickly.
So I said that the finance minister's package that was announced amidst a lot of enthusiasm, and MSMEs were very upbeat about it. But till Saturday, I know a couple of MSMEs that were inquiring in banks, especially in Bangalore and in Hyderabad, and they got a response from the banks saying that the banks as yet had no circular and they had no absolute details about how these loans were to be extended. That's one part of the question. The second part of the question is that banks actually believe that the risk is very high. I spoke to a couple of bankers. So banks are also not very upbeat in giving loans to MSMEs because they know that that there is a lot of risk in giving money to the MSEs. The third thing is that MSMEs
Can you
themselves.
keep the question short because we are going to run out of time.
Okay. So those two questions, sir.
First of all, the Reserve Bank has issued a already circular to all the banks. In my area in Nagpur, the bank manager they are calling people, MSME people, and sanction the loan. Many of the people meet me, representation give me on my WhatsApp and my social media, giving thanks to me, and they are getting loans. At the same time, today morning, my wife is also chairman of one urban cooperative bank, and she was telling me that there is a SLA rate and some rates are there. That is the condition from Reserve Bank. So Reserve Bank relaxed that and giving a special permission for them. The bank in Nagpur, where my wife is a chairman, that is a bank of 100 crore, a very small bank. But they have 2 crore 50 lakhs rupees already on this scheme. They have already disbursed. So everywhere there is a disbursement is going on. So my suggestion is, if anywhere there is a problem in Karnataka or somewhere, I request all the people that there is a committee appointed under the chairmanship of Rajnath Singh ji about reviewing all the matter related with the packages. So my suggestion is kindly send me email where you are facing the problem. We will see that we will resolve the issue. And second thing, this 20% additional loan, it is not the risk for the bank. It is the guarantee taken by the government. So under this circumstance, I feel that there is no problem for banks to issue this 20%. There are all the state bank, all the banks are giving, cooperative banks are giving. So I feel that there is no problem. If suppose there are some specific people who are facing this problem, kindly send me their email to Rajgopal Sharma. He is my private secretary. And for this conference also, our joint secretary Alka Arora is there also. She is on the line. So she will take this note of this point. Can you refer exactly in which area they are facing the problem? We will resolve their problem.
Thank you, sir. Very quickly, Mr. Ashok Motwani, can you please, and please make your questions brief as possible so we can get many answers.
Namaste, Nitin ji.
Yes.
Small scale के लिए आपने बहुत कुछ किया है.
English, please, Ashok, so everybody can follow.
Yeah, just one sentence.
Yeah.
You have done so much for small scale, and I also participated in your wellness thing because my youngest sister is involved. Is there any monitoring? Because this is bothering me. They are still getting bills like 30,000, 40,000 for electricity. When the parlor is closed, how the bill is? They have drawn. Abhi inka refund lete jaan nikal jayegi. MTNL is sending bills where nobody is able to talk to them, and these small issues can be addressed. And also, you show your concern for debt-free companies. Jo kuch bhi announcements hua hai, those who are in debt or they need assistance, financial assistance. But there are some entrepreneurs, they have done very well. We should respect their, and pull them out of difficulties. This is my request to you.
First of all, those who have good bank track record, they don't have any problem to get the fund from the bank as a working capital. So already those who have got good business, good record of turnover, good record of GST, good record of income tax, their rating is good, there is no problem. The second thing is regarding this electric bill. It is with the state government, and this is a problem. What you are telling is correct. That minimum charges, as per as their law, either you use electricity or not, their duty is to send you minimum charges bill. So it is there. But now I already requesting the Chief Minister that please consider this, give them some defer payment, 3-4 month time for that they can return your money for pending of this bill. For by giving some time, it can be a great relief for them. But it is with the state government electricity board, and now their situation is very bad. They are not in position. So these are the complex problems, but I am very positive about it. We will try to find out the way out for that.
So I will request Mr. Verma. He had wanted to ask a question earlier. I don't see your full name. I think SK Verma. The elderly gentleman with the headset, Anil, can you put his microphone on? Anil, HP. It says HP on his screen. Just wait, sir. He's going to unmute you. Can you unmute yourself? Can you unmute yourself? Sir, you'll have to unmute yourself. Yeah, go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, I am SK Verma from PS Global, Delhi. My question is that you have announced bill from government department will be released within 45 days. So then what we have to apply for that? Actually, I am having one. I have supplied DNA lab equipment to UP Electronic Corporation Limited, a wholly owned and undertaking of UP government, May 2018. But my bill has not been realized so far. I am in bad position, sir. My unit has sick, has closed, and I am on road. My house is mortgage, sir. Please help us. How, where do we have to apply, sir? Okay, so that my money can be released, or my money is.
Actually, we have taken decisions related with the central government and central government ministry and undertaking that immediately from the date of declaration, within 45 days, they should pay the dues which is pendency for MSMEs. But this is your case is related with the UP government. I have already written them that also the state government is also requesting them that please issue the payments of government departments and public undertaking within 45 days. So you give your case to me. Again, your personal case, I will recommend to the Chief Minister to request him to issue the payment as early as possible. I will try from myself to give you the relief for that.
Honorable Minister, I just wanted to explain to you that FCC has mostly journalist members, but sometimes we also take in people who have interest with media as our members. So you will find a variety of people here, including we are proud to have with us the head of International Bilateral Cooperation from DST, Mr. S.K. Varshney has also joined us, and from other chambers of commerce who are members. So they have a couple of small questions. If you have time, can we continue for just a little bit?
For 2-3 questions more, you can.
Thank you. So let me first bring on Mr. Abhay Agarwal. He is himself a member of the industry. He's a member of the media industry, I would say. And Abhay, if you can unmute him, Anil.
I've done that, yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Abhay.
Namaste, Nitinji. My question relates to there is a lot of diaspora which is coming back, particularly from the Gulf. These are people who have been running businesses. They have all the technology, investment, but they don't have KYC in the country. Are they eligible for MSME, for collateral-free loans? Can their credit history in those countries be considered?
Actually, the MSME which register under India, they will get the benefits. The people who have their work abroad, I don't feel that they will get any concession from the government. But these people are also doing well job in the countries, foreign countries. So now my feeling is that the situation is changing. Some of the people come back to India with the special flights because they was very annoyed, and I received a lot of emails from many people from Saudi Arabia and from different countries. They want to come back to India. But now within a month, situation will normalize and they can again shift to their original destination. And that is there they have to start the business. But in Indian situation, presently, we don't have any scheme for them.
Piyush Srivastav, he's a media person from the UK who has joined us. Please ask a very specific question. I think the minister might have already answered a portion of your question if you have one. Quickly.
Thank you so much, sir. Good evening, sir. This is Piyush Srivastav from India Review, London. I was also a journalist with SZ, and I've covered the MSME sector for a very long time. I was probably the first journalist in India who started covering this sector. So my very specific question to you is the 3 lakh crore package, the credit package for the MSME sector. Do you actually think it's going to benefit the sector? Because this sector, the entrepreneurs of this sector particularly need the loan restructuring and low cost of borrowing and not the fresh loan. I've spoken to many entrepreneurs in the last couple of days, and this is the feedback I got from the many associations. So your take on that.
Actually, one of the important problem which you are already giving to me is about the restructure of MSME. So already in this package, before this, when I answer in Parliament, actually we have restructured 6 lakh MSMEs. Then I have a meeting with the bank chairman with Nirmala ji. So now we have increased the date up to 31st December. And they are giving this 20,000 crore as a which is a subordinate debt fund, which is going to use for the MSME which are already in NPA, and they are not coming under the norms of present rules and regulation of the banks, where we are now supporting them by giving that equity to make them qualify for that, and by which that MSME will also restructure. This advantage will go to at least 2 lakhs MSME will be benefited. And 25 lakhs MSME, I am expecting that they will be restructured up to 31st December. So now the second thing which you are asking me, that is about the interest cost. And this is really a very important thing, that our interest cost is high. As in the abroad, the interest cost is 2 to 3%, and in dollar, and particularly South Korea and Japan, the cost, no cost is there, interest cost is there. But in Indian economy, we have 10%, 11% cost is there. So the capital cost, we need to reduce the cost of capital because the interest cost is very high. But that is the reason that we need to attract foreign investment in our industry. So in NBFC, I am talking with that then that you can then that if the Reserve Bank gives them permission to take a foreign investment in the NBFC, then it can be possible for them to reduce the cost. Now I'm just giving you an example. So my son is now exporting fruit, vegetable to Dubai, Canada. So he opened account in Dubai. So Dubai bank, he sent to his company in Dubai, and Dubai company is supplying material to the last person, those who are getting that material. So by which he is getting turnover. And so now he has got the 15 crore working capital in Dubai from the bank with 2% interest cost. So he is now using that. So we have to find out some options, because one thing is very correct, that Indian interest cost is very high. And that is the reason that we need foreign investment where we can reduce the cost. But presently in Indian scenario, you know, the interest cost is high. That is the ground reality.
Very, very.
Thank you so much, sir.
Very quick. Last two questions. I know Neena Goyal, WNE, and then Rahul Sharma. Neena ji?
Yes.
Go ahead with your question.
Yes, I'm ready with my question. Good evening, sir. Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes,
we
yes.
can.
Yes, I'm from World News Express. My question is, from 1st of October, new tax is going to be imposed in which TCS will be 0.10%. If we talk about grain market or any big industries, the volume is quite high and the margins are very less or least. Like due to this, even big industries like Kohinoor, etc., went under great losses. Now my main point is this: is this the right time to impose the new tax from 1st of October when entire world market is totally shunned or stopped?
Okay, thank you. Sir.
You have an appropriate question to a wrong person.
But no, like people, they
But
are.
I will take it this issue to the finance minister, and I know that this is a problem, but this is under the finance ministry. And presently, I feel that I will request them that because of coronavirus problem and all this problem we are facing, is there any chance for that can extend the date for that? or find out some way out, I will talk with them.
Rahul, please keep your question very brief to the point. Don't go
Yes.
into background.
Thank you so much, Manish. Good evening, sir, and thank you so much for taking out time. Could you please elaborate a little on the local content aspect of public procurement in light of the announcements that have been made, and also how does that reflect in the overall Make in India philosophy? And because some of the companies are actually that we work with and advise, they have invested in India, but they're also sourcing components from different parts of the world. So if you could just elaborate and help us understand on that. Thank you.
Actually, this is a very important issue. Only in government, we have taken a decision, central government, that up to 200 crore tender, it is only now the global company cannot participate in it. That is the only thing. Second thing is majority small players in Indian scenario industries. They are particularly automobile sector. The automobile sector is of 4,50,000 crore, out of which 1,45,000 crore is export. Now these are shoes and the chappal and all this leather cluster, that is of 1,45,000 crore, out of which 85,000 crore is domestic market and 45 to 55,000 crore is the export. So now we are giving lot of new invention. I'm showing this example of a good thing. This is watch. I launched this watch from Khadi Gramodyog Mission. This belt is of Khadi and dial is also of Khadi. And this is a launch made by Titan. And it's a 5,000 price is there for ladies and gents. Both the models are very beautiful. And within a month, it is totally out of market. So we need to manufacture more. So now by using different innovative technology and particularly use of handloom, handicraft, innovation, I always feel that the innovation, entrepreneurship, science, technology, research, skill, and experiences, we name it as a knowledge. And conversion of knowledge into wealth and conversion of waste into wealth, these are very two favorite subjects to me. And it is very important, it is depending upon the technology, the leadership, and vision of leadership that you can change waste to wealth. So already for down level, we are now encouraging lot of new technology, new innovations, new and actually there is a huge potential for export, and particularly considering present international problem related with China. Now it is the opportunity, it is a blessing in disguise that we can take the advantage of it and we can make our more export and we can make availability of all type of different type of material with low cost and with good quality.
Sir, before I close,
Munish, I have a question, Munish.
Yeah, please go ahead, Venkat. Sorry.
Minister, this crisis provides us with a great opportunity to diversify our industrial, sector. Now, all these migrant laborers who are coming thousands of miles and kilometers from their villages to big cities and going to places like Gurgaon or Chennai or Hyderabad or Warangal, Pune, wherever, why can we not set up greenfield, tax-free manufacturing units, every 5 districts. Each district on average has about 20 lakhs of people, but 1 crore of people living in a sector, a cluster of 5 districts. Supposing we set up a greenfield manufacturing sector, the migration of laborers to our cities and creation of slums and putting pressure on civic amenities will stop. And it's ridiculous in a huge country like India, somebody travels more than 1,000 kilometers to take up a job in a big city for 10,000 rupees at the most. So how about using this opportunity to set up at least 1,000 greenfield manufacturing units across the country, at the rate of 1 in every 5 districts, so that people living in that particular area make a living by working in that particular manufacturing unit. Particularly when we are hoping that a lot of investors will come by closing shop in China, come to India. How about using this as an opportunity to diversify and take away these manufacturing facilities from big cities to, create new cities across the country? What do you think about that, Minister?
You are absolutely correct. I'm working on the same line. Now there is a centralization of industry in Gurgaon, Faridabad, Noida, Mumbai, Pune, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Chennai, Calcutta. We need to diversification in industry. And that is exactly that we are making the policy name as agro MSME or agro processing industries in the rural area. This agro MSME, it is only the meaning that the industry which are going to start into the region of the limit of village, Gram Panchayat. So exactly, you are absolutely correct. And this is the time for India to take it very seriously. The other way which I am telling you, I am constructing Mumbai-Delhi Express Highway. And roadside, we are developing industrial clusters on the same line which you are telling to me. I offered Dharavi people, Dharavi, we have 150,000 poor workers from the Charmakar community making shoes and other things. They are working in Dharavi. I have given proposal to Maharashtra government. In Thane district, there will be land available, good housing, and sustainability will be there. Connectivity to airport, railway station, everything will be there. Logistic park will be there. Designing center, other thing. We can make leather cluster there, and we can shift all the labor from Dharavi to that area. And that is very important because this saturation in the big city like Mumbai, Pune, Delhi, Noida, and this Gurgaon, this is really a problematic. So on the same line, I'm of the same opinion as you feel, and that line we are working to making the policy for that. And this is very important for India, that migrant labor, they don't need to come to Gurgaon or Mumbai. They can get jobs there. And that is very important. On the same line, we are working.
So my last comment before we close is, do you think Atmanirbhar Bharat will in any way conflict with your export goals? And you can answer both and then we'll close, is that I think one section of the industry that is also hurting very badly is our industry, the one we come from, the media industry. Thousands of people are being let off jobs from big to small to medium institutions. Some of them are even closing shop. Have you ever thought, this is the fourth estate, this is a pillar of democracy. Are you doing anything about them?
Particularly the print media.
Yes, the print media and television media both are facing problems.
Yes.
And it is really a crucial situation because the more generation, more circulation, more losses. That is the theory in print media. And that is the reason that depending upon the advertisement revenue. So they are all facing the problem. You are absolutely correct. Regarding, it's not in my hand, but as a MSME, that print media is under also in our MSME, some of the, we can find out some option way out for them and how we can be helpful for them. But regarding this Atmanirbhar Bharat, there is no contradiction. So, Sukhi, Samruddha, Sampanna, Shaktishali Bharat, भय भूख आतंक भ्रष्टाचार से मुक्त और गांव गरीब मजदूर किसान का कल्याण करने वाला, विथ अवर मोरल इथिकल वैल्यूज को लेकर और मॉडर्नाइजेशन नॉट वेस्टर्नाइजेशन, इनोवेशन, एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप, साइंस, टेक्नोलॉजी, रिसर्च, स्किल, experiences, by taking advantage of the knowledge. And knowledge is the most important powerful power. On the basis of that, we need to build new India, where we need to support more export to make our economy strong, to find out the alternative for our imports, to make our economy strong, and at the same time create more employment potential. And what exactly suggestion which I received from your senior member, that it is time for us to develop industry into rural, agriculture, tribal, and 115 aspirant districts to make new industrial clusters there. Now I am making this Chambal Express Highway. You know the Chambal, the reputation of Chambal. Now the 100% land is going to be available by Madhya Pradesh government. And my planning is making a big green express highway. And roadside, there will be industrial clusters. So Bheen, Morena, Chambal, the backward area, where we need to develop good industrial area, which can be very nearer to Delhi. So this type of approach is very important. And this is the way which I feel that we can make Atmanirbhar India. So that is exactly the feeling behind it. One thing which I want to tell you, that is because before 47, there was 3 popular thought was there. One was actually socialism, communism, and capitalism. But now the China and Russia, taking the example, there is only red flag there, but they accepted liberal economic policy like USA. But the USA economy is also not the solution. So this is the time by which I feel that I am a follower of Pandit Deen Upadhyay. Equally, I am very much follower of Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia. My icon leader is George Fernandez and Atal Bihari Vajpayee. And I am always thinking on this line that this is the time for Indian thought, that where we need to think about the last person of the society who is socially, economically, educationally backward. That last person, jo आखिरी पायदान पर खड़ा है, we have to think about it. On the basis of that, we need a liberal economic thinking by which we can increase the capital investment in the country. We will get good technology, appropriate technology from abroad and from India both. We will be competitive in international market, and by which we will increase our export, decrease our import. We will make our economy strong. Already we are the fastest growing economy, and on the same path, we will make strong India. And where we need to develop ideology of social and family system on the value-based system, like the social system and family system on values. That is very important. That is the strength of India. On the basis of that, using technology, innovation, entrepreneurship, science, research, skill, and experiences, by this combination, and by using the thought of Antyodaya thought of Pandit Deen Upadhyay, Mahatma Gandhi, Ram Manohar Lohia. Now this is the time that there is no socialism, no capitalism, and no communism, and all are fails. If you can go to visit, I was there in one of the country, European country near to Russia, where in one garden I see there are a lot of actually from Karl Marx to Lenin, lot of pratimas was there, and they was under the Hungary. I was in Hungary. Budapest,
yes.
Yes, I was there and I seen it. So now this is the time that world is searching for new economic thought, new socio-economic thought. And communism, socialism, and capitalism is not going to resolve the problem. So this is the time for Indian thinker, the Indian ideology, basis of considering Gaon, Garib, Mazdoor, and Kisan with a liberal economic thinking, creating more employment potential and eradication of poverty by getting more foreign funds, at the same time using the best technology and development of technology in the country, by which we can be an ideal model for the world. So this is a very, very new subject, but it is very close to my heart. Sometime when we will meet, we will discuss detail about it, that what will be the roadmap for that. But I am confident that India has got the ability to give a socio-economic leadership to the world, and we can make India strong, a strong economy in the world.
So we'll close on the note, as you said in September last year, that your ministry will still deliver 2 trillion out of the $5 trillion that we are poised to become in 2024-25. So I think that's your promise. And
yes, I will try my level best.
But thank you, Honorable Minister. It's been a pleasure. It's not just been a regular session and question and answers. I think we were very happy that you engaged us in a dialogue, that we could get into a dialogue with you on various aspects of COVID, economy, MSMEs, and what really India can do, because you hold charge to what is the heartbeat of India. So I want to thank you. I would like our President also, Mr. Venkat Narayan to also thank you, and then we'll close.
Nitin Bhau, this was a very interesting conversation. Even though you are in Nagpur, we are here, somebody is somewhere else, somewhere in Hyderabad and all that. But the computer, the technology brought us close. You could see us and we could see you. And it was an excellent exchange of thoughts. Thank you so very much. We hope to have you at the FCC once the lockdown is over to exchange notes about how India has fared, how the MSME and rest of the structure and Bharat Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, how India is coping with it and what are the results. Thank you so very much. Thank you and good night.
Good night.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll close with a special thanks to the minister and all of us who have